Okay. Okay. Hey, folks. Welcome to our roadmap to AI podcast from the Infinity AI community. And today we have another awesome speaker with us, Mr. Bhargav Patel. So let me introduce Mr. Bhargav first. So Bhargav is a working as a AI engineer at Detect Technology, and also before that he worked as a researcher in AI field, wrote more than four or more research papers in AI field, and also he's a mentor at hackathons, multiple hackathons, and judge. Also, he represented himself as a judge in hackathons, right? So over to you, Bhargav.
Thank you, Shavel, for
If
the
I missed
introduction.
anything, you can. If I missed anything, you can head on.
No, it was perfect. It was perfect. Yeah. So hi everyone. It's great to connect with you all. So as you may know, today's session would be on how to become an AI engineer. Uh, so let me start by sharing my screen. Uh, yeah. Okay. So I hope you guys are able to see the screen.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So today's session would be on the roadmap to become an AI engineer. Now, when I say a roadmap to become an AI engineer, there is no one way. Let me start the session by saying that there is no one way to do it. So I have make sure that in this session we understand what are the possible ways. So when I started a journey to become a machine learning engineer, I did not know how to do that. So I fumbled upon a lot of courses, a lot of projects, did a lot of let's say things that were not in the right direction. I'm not saying they were not useful; they were useful in somewhere in my journey, but they are not into the one particular direction. So this session will be focused on giving you a glimpse on a certain idea to what skills you should have, what things you should build when you are in undergrad, or maybe you are making a career change, and what is the current challenges into the AI field, what are the career opportunities. So these things will be covered into the session. So without wasting time, let's start with the session first. Yeah. So Shaival has already given an introduction, but I did add this slide in the presentation. So just giving you a brief. So I work as a junior staff AI engineer at Detect Technologies. In the past, I have taken a role as a data scientist. I have been software engineer, and I have been a researcher as well. But apart from that, I also write blogs on something called as machine learning operations and data science. And I love to read books on sci-fi, business, and productivity. So this is the typically how I spent my day from morning to evening. Uh, and if you want to know more about or maybe connect with me, I have one thing for you. Not marketing or something like that, but yeah, I do share content, so you can just connect with me over here. I'll keep this slide for 5 seconds, so maybe you can take a snapshot and then we can move forward. Or by the way, if you have any doubts, anything, you can post into the comment section. Would love to address the doubts at the end of the session.
Sure, sure. I'm also copying the pasting the link in the comment section so folks can check out.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you, Shaival. Yeah. So let's continue with our main purpose. So as I said, the purpose of this session is to give you a bit of glimpse about how we can become an AI engineer. What are the challenges to it, what skills are required, what things you should focus on, and what. So see, becoming an AI engineer is not like one skill that you can acquire. It's a combination of multiple skills. You have to be a software engineer. You should know data, you should know ML, you should know math, you should be a good communicator. But how would you acquire it? What is the, let's say if someone new is starting this journey, what should be let's say a small template to follow from which that particular person could discover more. So this all things would be covered into this session. But before going forward, let's see what is an AI engineer, right? We are hearing this word AI a lot. If you open the LinkedIn today, is a blast of the post on GPT-4, and also Google launches their AI generative AI for the Google Docs and Gmail. But
Yesterday,
what
sorry
is
to interrupt.
yeah.
Uh, Sorry to interrupt, but yesterday was also an AI day because the updated ChatGPT released.
Yes. So if you just open the link right now, even there'll be a lot of posts on machine learning and AI. And uh, be, uh, in building any ML product, there's a key roles of ML engineers. You call it AI engineers. You call it data scientists, right? So an AI engineer is a professional person who designs, develops, and implements AI-based solution to solve complex problems. Now, when I say design, develop, and implement, you'll be working directly with the core team or core business team who have a business problem, and you'll be given a business task that this is the input, this is what we want. Now your job is to design the complete solution, make sure that design is implementable, not just यहाँ से ये लगा दिया यहाँ से वो लगा दिया and it will start working. You have to develop that as well. If you are working in a startup and let's say there are a few team members, you might be the only one who's implementing that, right? So AI, when I say AI engineer, it covers everything from designing the solution to developing the solution to making it production ready. Uh, AI engineers mainly work with the machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, and NLP tasks and other AI-related technologies. But it is not limited to that particular those technologies, right? But what common traits are shared? If you say any good AI engineer, I'm not just talking about AI engineer, I'm saying any good AI engineer, uh, good mathematics skills is a must. You should know computer science and you should know data analysis, right? So there is a lot of confusion between data scientist, data analysis, ML engineer, AI engineer, C computer vision engineer, and NLP engineer. But when I say AI engineer, it covers all of those subfields in a broader sense. You should be very good at programming. AI engineer should know, let's say, Python, Java, or at least C++. And the collaborative behavior. An AI engineer would be working with the multiple teams. Let's say a team of data scientists, team of software engineers, which are helping the organization to build an end-to-end AI solution. Right. So this is what a day of an AI engineer look like. You'll be working in all of these points on your day-to-day life if you become an AI engineer. Right. I hope I'm making myself clear, not making you bored. So yeah. So now this was the intro. Now if you must be having a question in your mind, how would we can achieve that? So there are certain skills that is required. uh, the skills which are mentioned here, these are not the only skills required, but if you divide your skills into major chunks, these six sections I can think of. So first is the programming. Now programming is a must. Earlier, when let's say 100 years ago, becoming a literate person was a necessity. In next 15 years, knowing programming would be a must. Everyone should know programming at least, right? So an AI engineer should have a strong proficiency in at least one of the programming language, be it Python, be it Java, be it C++, because let's say AI is not a language dependent thing. You can build an AI model in Python, you can build an AI model in C++. The difference is in Python it would be a bit easy, in C++ it would be a bit tough. But you should know how programming language works. Apart from that, there are multiple tools that we use every day. GitHub is the most important tools, because you cannot share your code by zipping it and sending an email that hey, this is the code, can you please add it into the code base. It's a mess for the person who's integrating everything, right? We use Jupyter Notebook, we use IDEs. Now when I say IDE, people think that Visual Studio, we type in Visual Studio and that we know Visual Studio. But believe me, Visual Studio has much more to offer. Uh, Even like when I was in college, I used to do debugging as print this, print this, print this. But Visual Studio has an inbuilt tool called debugger. So start using Visual Studio in a way it should be. There are a lot of, as let's say, functionalities available. There are a lot of different modules that you can download in Visual Studio, which makes you more productive, right? And understanding of basic computer science courses such as computer architecture, memory management, and the ability to optimize code and performance, right? So, what I have observed is when we talk about AI engineering or machine learning, people start learning TensorFlow and Keras and all those algorithms. But believe me, core computer science skills are very much important. Like you cannot eliminate core computer science subjects, let's say computer architecture, computer network, database management, operating system, all these courses, and yeah, data structure and algorithms. All these five courses are a foundational for building anything, be it cloud computing, be it distributed system, be it machine learning or anything. This five or six core engineering computer science skills you must master to call yourself a skilled AI engineer, right? Now, second things that we always avoid, maths, right? We love to train our model, but we don't know how the learning algorithm is working. But uh, if you go for an interview in a good company to, let's say, for a ML engineer or for AI engineer kind of a role, believe me, your interview will revolve around mathematics. They are not going to ask you to build a classifier. They will ask you to explain the algorithm that is making the model learn, how the optimization is working, and all of this will require a mathematical foundation. So courses like linear algebra, calculus, statistics, probability theory, they are heart of ML. When I say ML, it's connected to AI as well. So let me say they're heart of AI. All these subjects working in combinations, right? Third one would be the thing that we love a lot: machine learning and deep learning, right? So when I say you should know MLDL, it does not mean just import TensorFlow as TF dot fit, TF dot predict, TF dot evaluate. That is not machine learning. That is you just writing a simple code, and even ChatGPT can write that code in a much more accurate way than we do. But what skills, let's say when I say ML, machine learning or deep learning, you should know how an algorithm is working, why an algorithm is failing on a particular test cases, and you can only achieve that when you actually know how these tools are made. I remember from one of the interview, I was using TensorFlow from last 3 or 4 years, and suddenly I had a question: can you explain the architecture of TensorFlow? I did not know how the TensorFlow is built. I know it is useful for machine learning and I was using it, but I did not know the higher level of TensorFlow architecture, how it uses the graph to compute everything. By the way, in the TensorFlow, everything is graph. So maybe you can start learning it, but do understand it. Do open that black box to know how TensorFlow or PyTorch or any libraries that is working, how they could be useful for wider range of application, right? So let me just repeat it. You should start with programming, learn Python, learn mathematics. I'm not saying be a mathematician and be a Nobel Prize mathematics winner, but learn at least a basic foundational that is needed for every engineer, not just ML engineer or AI engineer. Then go with to learn machine learning or deep learning as it is. You'll be able to gain much more understanding out of it, right? Second thing that comes in that is, I have also made this mistake. We never learn how to clean the data. Like, it's actually a dark side of data science. When we, thought of becoming an AI engineer, or let's say data scientist, or let's say ML engineer, we think that we'll take the data, we'll train the model, and next ChatGPT is ready. But believe me, training a model is just a 5% task. Other 95% lies in cleaning your data, gathering your data, making sure that data is correct, pre-processing your data into the right way. Because your model is like garbage in, garbage out. Yet if your data is not correct, your output would be not as expected. So create a skill to clean data. How you can let's say extract data from different sources. Let's say you have a SQL database, let's say you have a MySQL, MongoDB, and a some text data. How you are going to make sure that you get the right data from all these tools at the same time? It's a big task, more important than becoming training a model, right? How you can visualize the data, because you cannot feed any data to any model. There is some pattern of particular type of data works there with particular type of model. Okay, so please learn these tools. They might be tedious, but let's say if you become a ML engineer or AI engineer just after your graduation, you spend your 1 or 1.5 year in cleaning the data. or become a data, or let's say your job would be more of data engineering, not actual AI engineer, right? Because those skills are needed. So this was all about technical skills, but uh, A- AI engineer. When you say AI engineer, it's not about just technical things. You should know how to communicate. And believe me, people put a very less effort to learn how to write an email or how to approach someone, or let's say how to effectively communicate your complex idea to a person who does not know AI. Okay. So if you take a scenario, let's say in this session, I start talking about Adam algorithm and their application and their derivatives and how they, all the learning rate and everything works. But you will feel like what this guy is talking about. Like, it's completely boring. So it's my job to, take that complex topic, chunk it, crunch it into a simpler way so that you can understand. And this issues you are going to face when you join the industry. uh, I'm not criticizing something, but those who are not from, let's say, who are, let's say, your higher management, if they are, not from your AI field, they won't understand your language. You need to make sure that you effectively communicate your idea to them in a way that they want to hear, right? Because ultimately, an algorithm doesn't matter how much money that algorithm creates, that matter. So you need to communicate the value of your project. And after, like, let's say 2 or 3 years of experience, this communication is going to cover 50 to 60% of your time. If you don't know how to represent your idea in a meeting, if you are not respectful in your communication, if you are not respectful in criticizing something or saying no, it's going to impact your career a lot. So please learn to communicate. Like, consider it as a most important skill. Try to do a course on communication. It might be in your university, it might be online. There are Coursera, Udemy, YouTube. There are a lot of good content available, but learn to communicate. Okay.
Join
And
communities, talk or give talk. That's
sorry.
also another way. That's also another way
Yeah,
to make join communities, give
correct.
talks.
That's actually a very good way. If I talk about myself, I was a person who has a stage fear. If I go on a stage, I used to start, shivering badly. But when I become an, let's say, Google Expert ML facilitator, I had to conduct workshop in front of 60 people. So initially, I practiced a lot because I did not have those communication skills that were needed. But you can always acquire it. So earlier, I'm just sharing for the, to inspire others, that earlier I used to practice for 2 to 3 weeks to deliver a session of 1 to 2 hours. Today, I just need to make the PPT and I start speaking. So you can acquire any skill, not just technical skill, but soft skill, communication skills, and those are very important. We never think before writing an email how we can, address the other person, how we should, formulate an email. I have seen people writing an email you don't want to even reply, and there are people who write amazingly great emails that you are very keen to help them. So that difference you get when you're very good at communication, and it's a skill that you can acquire. It's not something that you are born with. You acquire these skills, right?
Right.
And next one and the last is the creativity. So creativity is needed in each and every job, right? But when you're an AI engineer, it's something much more important, because you will be dealing with the problems that are not, let's say, addressed earlier, right? So you'll be working with the problems whose solution might not be available directly online. Even if you go and ask ChatGPT that, hey, can you help me in building this? Can you write the code for this? It might not give you the right thing. So you need to think out of the box. And to think out of the box, you should have a knowledge of things. So you should read case studies. You should read how companies are using AI, how they are building products to meet particular requirements, right? You need to be up to date with the, I'm not saying, let's say, read 6 hours a day, but be acquainted with the technology that is working in the current area. Okay. So just to summarize about the skill set, be good at programming, learn maths, don't avoid it, it's not your enemy, it's your best friend. Learn machine learning and deep learning. Do not avoid data analysis, it's going to be very helpful. And communication and creativity. If you have the skills, if you are trying to acquire these skills, you are on already a good path to become an AI engineer. But I explained what skills are needed, but how you can acquire them, right? There is a plenty of information available online, and 90% of them are, let's say, not of our use. On the internet, 90% of things we don't need, but there's a really good contents available that I've made a list of it. uh, okay, I see people are saying, please provide this PPT. I'll share this PPT, I'll make it publicly accessible, and we'll share the link with Shaival, so they, if you have email IDs of the participants, you can forward it as well. Okay.
Sure. We
So
will send the
yeah,
PPT in the links and after the session.
sure, perfect. So to learn anything, every like you can, at least you can learn everything for free. Like if you just go to Coursera, they have a scholarship program, you can apply for the scholarship, you'll get the scholarship, right? But you should have that, let's say, curiosity to learn different things. Not, I'm sharing this from my personal experience. One of my senior person told me that you should never say no to the task and to learn something new when you're early in your career. I used to think that, hey, I'm an AI engineer, I don't need to learn JavaScript. But yeah, I do course now. I learn JavaScript and full stack engineering as well, because somewhere those things are needed, right? So be curious about learning things. I'm sharing a list of courses to, step by step approach. But they that this course are just not limited to this particular field. You can use different courses, whatever suits you, suits your approach of learning. Okay. So first is the intro to AI. Like, how do you actually know about what is an AI? You need to have a in-depth understanding of it. So maybe people can take the snapshot of these slides. This All the courses are available on Coursera. So there are courses on AI for everyone by deeplearning.ai. Deeplearning.ai have amazing courses, a lot of advanced courses, basic courses for your different needs. Then there's an introduction to data science by IBM, and Python for everybody. So learn Python, gain the basic understanding of AI, how it is useful, what are the different scenarios in AI is useful, and keep learning. As Yoda says, much to learn. We all still have. So let's say you gain understanding of AI, you know a bit of about Python, you start doing coding. Then there comes the math skills. Now, math skills we generally tend to avoid because we think that maths is hard. But when you start understanding how a particular mathematical equation it's connected to its, let's say, real world, then you actually start seeing the possibility and you start visualizing maths. So the three courses that are mentioned here, they are amazing to learn maths from the very foundation. You don't need to be already, let's say, if you know basics of linear algebra, calculus, statistics, mean, median, mod, and let's say probability, which we must be knowing because we cleared the 12th. So we'll have, at least we'll know all these words, right? You can start with this, any one of the courses that you like. Again, this mathematics from machine learning and data science specialization by deeplearning.ai. Machine learning specialization, one of the great teacher, author, and AI entrepreneur, Andrew Ng, and mathematics for machine learning specialization. All these three, you can start with any one of these courses. By the way, you don't have to do all the courses. I'm just sharing, which courses are good, uh, courses which I have tried, courses which I have liked. I'm sharing those courses. Uh, so any one of the course you start, you'll get a very good understanding like how a particular algorithm works, how it is connected to the mathematics, and how mathematics play a key role in developing these algorithms. Okay. And let's say AI. Now, when I say AI, it's not just about machine learning or data science. When I say AI, it's about building a model, deploying your model to the end users, maintaining that model, and keep updating that model. So please keep this in mind whenever you're working with the AI project industry. It's always an iterative approach. You build version 1, you learn from the feedback, you build version 2, version 3, version 4, it keeps on going. But to do that, to create that end-to-end feedback loop, you need much more things than just training your model. Okay. So there is a deep learning specialization which covers a lot of things about deep learning, right? those who already know deep learning and they want a very good, let's say, a brush up, or like let's say you want to understand about very key points. There is amazing course about deep learning on YouTube, free, from MIT Open Coursework. They update this course every year, and believe me, if you just watch video for 2 minutes, I'm damn sure that you are going to finish the full course. It is very fast-paced course, so I don't suggest this to beginners. But those who are intermediate level or who want to go at it, let's say brush up things or maybe gain more knowledge, they can try this one, right? Third one is on TensorFlow developer by deeplearning.ai. Uh, TensorFlow is one of the tool that is open sourcely available and widely used. It's not the only tools. There is PyTorch, Cafe, ONNXNet, and there are a lot of other tools available. But TensorFlow is widely used. It's a big community, right? So learn how to use TensorFlow, right? The fourth course, this machine learning engineer by deeplearning.ai. I believe every data scientist, ML engineer, AI engineer should do this course if they are in the industry and they are building product around AI, right? So there is something called as ML ops, machine learning operations, which is it's not scope of this let's say session, but learning ML ops would be a very important thing for your career, and there are very few people who know about ML ops and too. So you know, give a shot to this course, but it's a bit of advanced course to learn about ML. Then start with this machine learning engineer by developer deeplearning.ai.
I really want to know about MLOps.
Yeah. So we'll cover it. We'll cover it in this session for like there is a couple of slides upcoming, and then there is a natural language processing. One of the, let's say, currently in the really hyped field, I would say. The way large scale language models are coming, companies are spending billions on those models, but understanding them, how they work, it's very fascinating. Like humans took a lot of time to, let's say, understand the language, to build the language, and when an AI does that at the same rate, it's very fascinating. And if you want to learn NLP, believe me, NLP is not just about technical things. You should know linguistics, you should know how a language is formed, how a language works. So be ready to take some non-technical courses if you want to be a really good NLP engineers. Just to give you an idea, all world-renowned ML researchers, scientists, ML scientists or AI scientists, they have a minor degree in neuroscience or some related field. Okay, so you can just Google the top names and you can see they have some minor work in the area of neuroscience, because it is needed to, like natural language is a intelligent thing. Intelligent species do that. So if you want to make another AI copy that can do this thing, you should know how the languages were formed, how they work. Okay. So by the way, these are not must needed in your job description. I'm just trying to give you a glimpse of how advanced you can go when you are working with the AI. Okay. So this was about the courses, and I believe that courses are a more passive way to learn, right? You sit on a chair, there is a nice screen over there, you have a glass of juice with you, or maybe a cup of water, and a guy is speaking in the screen, just like we are. But they does not teach you what a project can teach you, right? So projects are best way to learn, because you are not just learning, you are implementing at the same time. So uh, if you want to become an AI engineer, let's say you're an undergrad or first or second year, or even if a working profession who want to make a shift to become an AI engineer or any related field, you will need some projects in your resume, some kind of work that shows a potential recruiter that hey, this guy knows what we want. Okay, so I have divided these things into two separate parts. One is a model development, another is a model deployment. So Shay will ask about knowing ML ops. So I'll give you a glimpse of ML ops and what it looks like. Okay. So let's first start with the model development part. Model development is fairly simple. You take a use case, you build your model, and that's it. You get 100%, let's say 99% accuracy, and your college project is ready to present. Like you can do image recognition, try to build a object detection that can detect, let's say, humans in the frame, cars, or let's say crocodile, or n number of things, right? But you may think that these projects are simple and widely available online. Why would I do this? But you need to do basic things to build a foundation. You should know when you are building object detector, how does an object detection algorithm works? How does that algorithm knows that the objects are present in the image, they're particularly at this location, right? All things you should try to grab as much as possible. So I'm just giving you a number of projects. I'm not saying do every project that is mentioned, but take your field. Let's say you want to be a computer vision. So start with image classification, then do object detection, then do image segmentation. You'll have a really good understanding of the thing, and try to build it as much as by yourself. Let's say do not just clone the repo and just run the project. Try to write your code by yourself. That is be a tedious process. Your first project may take 3 to 4 months, but believe me, your next project will take only 1 month. That you'll see that by yourself, right? Let's say if you want to go into NLP field, right? So sentiment analysis is a go-to project to do. Every first year guy who wants to do ML will do this project eventually, right? But do not use GPT-3. Just make an API call, identify sentiment in this statement. I'm not saying, I'm not telling you to build that. I'm telling you to build an model from the scratch, where you collect data, where you clean the data, where you build a model, you train the model, and then try it. Okay. Build a chatbot. Recommender system are the widely used ML application. Be it Netflix, be it Amazon, everyone uses recommender system here and then, right? If you want to be creative, you can try style transfer, right? Style transfer is one of the generative network technique in which you build stunning images from by comparing two of the images. And to learn style transfer, you should know how a CNN works. And if you know how a CNN works, convolutional neural network, you know a lot of things. Okay. Build a object tracking. Let's say if you are tracking one person, then that person is walking. How would you track it? Right? What will be your input? What will be your output? How the model will work? Right? Build a fraud detection algorithm for credit card database or something like that. Build a speech recognition system. uh, I mentioned all this. Let's say one, two, three, six, eight, eight projects, and believe me, all eight projects are available as a cloud service. You can go on AWS and see all these services would be available, right? We know chatbot, chat GPT, it is already available. So the main reason why I'm telling you to build this is to you should know how each and every brick is aligned to build a larger system, right? If putting a simple library would not do, like, it will make things faster to build, but it will not teach you. Your objective is to learn, not to build as of now. So this was about building your model. When you get, let's say, 99% accuracy, you are happy. You build a good presentation, you present it to a professor gives you a very good marks. But in industry, it won't work. Let me tell you why. The model that you have trained, that model is not going to create money for the company until and unless you deploy that model, right? So let's go to model deployment part. Let's say you build an image classifier or object detector. You get a model, a nice saved model.pb file. Think how you can serve that model to end user. And by the way, this is where MLOps comes into the picture. Just giving you a fact that training your model is just a 5% of MLOps. So the code that you write in your Jupyter notebook is just 5%. Other 95% is about serving your model, your inference infrastructure, your configurations, let's say your CI/CD pipelines, and a lot of things. So those who wants to know, maybe we can arrange some session in the subsequent series about MLOps. But it's a bit of advanced field, so it will be very specific to those who already know what ML is. So yeah, let's come back to this track. Deploying your model. When you train your model, let's say you build a sentiment analysis model. Try to deploy that model in AWS in a way that even if I want to send a request with a statement, I can do that. Believe me, you are gonna spend, if you have spent 2 months on building that model, you are gonna spend next 4 to 5 months on doing this type of thing. deployment. Let's say you want to monitor your model, how your model is performing, let's say how much number of queries you are receiving, which query you are responding right and what queries are responding wrong. How would you know that? That is where model monitoring comes into the picture. Let's say there is a change in data and you want to retrain your model. If you say I'll do it by myself, just imagine you are working in a company and you have let's say 1 million users. If you do it manually, you're going to waste a lot of human power on doing this nitty gritty. It should be automated, right? We all know something called as GitHub, version control for to version your source code. But in when you are working with the working as an AI engineer, you should know how to version your data set as well, because a different data set would give you different model, would give different output. So when you are doing experiment every day, you should know how to version your data, which version of data you use, and same go with the versioning of the models itself. And one thing that I recommend everyone to try out is build the CI/CD pipeline for machine learning models. Let's say you make a change in code, your code should automatically be, let's say, tested, built, and deployed. If you can build this pipeline, believe me, you know a lot of things, and this skills on your resume will put your resume way forward compared to other people who just know how to train the model. Okay, so the course that I mentioned about this machine learning engineer by deep learning.ai, that course is literally gonna teach you all of these things in a very limited manner. But once you have the foundation, you can scale it up to your needs.
That CI/CD that you mentioned is my cup of tea.
So yeah, CI/CD is all was the part of DevOps and all. DevOps who are working as a DevOps engineer, even in the software engineering as well, we have CI/CD pipeline. It's not a new concept, but when you try to build a CI/CD pipeline for a machine learning, let's say ML software, it comes with their own challenges. So we know this word CI/CD. There is something called as continuous training and continuous monitoring, CTCM.
Hmm. Yeah,
So when we say MLOps, it's CI, CD, CTCM, all combined with complete automation.
that's a new thing that I got to learn today.
Yeah. So this was about projects. So don't just do courses. I know sharing certificate on LinkedIn gives you a different feeling. Showing your certificate on a resume gives you a different feeling. But projects are the ultimate thing that you are going to talk about in interviews. The first interview that person will ask, what ML projects you have done, how you have done, what technology you used, because they are going to see the candidate that they need. Do that person knows that particular technology that they want? Okay, so let's say you I talk about a lot of things that you need these skills and these are the resources. Seems a lot of tedious tasks, right? To learn maths, ML, that learn communication skills and all whatnot. But why would you do that? Like, why I would spend a lot of time in this? Uh, the reason lies here. Becoming an ML engineer or AI engineer or data scientist is very high in demand. And let me reiterate it. Becoming a skilled AI engineer. Okay. A lot of people ask me, a lot of students ask me, like what is the most let's say booming field of today, and how can we get a very good package in the computer science? My simple answer is every field in engineering is booming. It's just about the skills that you have. Even if you are, let's say you have done chemical engineering, but you are one of the best chemical engineer in your, let's say, city or a country, you are gonna earn more than a computer science guy who have mediocre skills. So it's not about which field are booming, it's about which skills you should know, and a skills at a higher level you should know, right? So if you are a skilled AI engineer who have an in-depth understanding of machine learning and ML deployment, uh, you are gonna get a very good package and all, right? Because this is what we all talk about. Like यार इसका 25 का पैकेट लग गया, इसका 30 का लग गया, इसका 10 का लग गया, इसको तो 3 का ही मिला, you know. But yeah, when you're a skilled AI engineer, you get a very good package, right? And talking about AI engineering, but in all the field, even if full stack engineer get a good package because they are skilled in that into that particular field. Okay, it's skills that becomes the return of investment, not the particular field. And even in this session as well, I talk about ML, AI engineer, you know, interchangeably, but they are not exactly same. But if you have this kind of skill, you can be an ML engineer, you can be a data scientist, you can be a computer vision engineer. Sorry for the typo. You can be the NLP engineer, and these all fields are growing at a very good rate. But the question that even I came across is salary everything that matters? When you are in college, yes it does. You think like यार 25 का पैकेज लग जाए तो अच्छी सी बाइक ले लूंगा, यहाँ जाऊंगा वहाँ जाऊंगा. But when you actually get that, let's say, package, you spend 1.5 year, and let's say your work is not that much great. It's not able to give you that, let's say, feeling of satisfaction, right? uh, Believe me, it's not everything. It's important. I'm not saying it's not important. Earning money is very important, but it's not everything. Okay, so don't cover the whole pie with the money. Keep it 25-30% up to you, but look for the other things as well. If you are AI engineer, you work with very exciting technologies. Just imagine you are working at an open AI company and you are building GPT-4. You are pushing the boundaries of the human knowledge. You are working on a very high level projects that are pushing the limits of, let's say, what we called as artificial intelligence. We are pushing the limits of intelligence. Okay. Second thing is the demand. There is a very high demand for skilled AI engineers. People want, like, MLOps engineer would be needed everywhere, because if you are working with a ML product, on a ML product, MLOps is a necessity. It's not something that you can avoid. If not today, tomorrow you have to implement all the best practices of MLOps, right? Third one is the flexibility. After COVID, flexibility has increased, but there is a no amount of work has also increased. But if you're an AI engineer, you are in a good company, you have a very good flexibility to do work, and a lot of jobs are remote. So let's say if you require to be at home sometimes, you know, to do work from home, this field does gives you very good flexibility. Okay. Fourth is a learning opportunity. There are innovations happening every day in the field of AI. New research papers are coming up, new models are coming, new techniques are coming. So there is a plenty of learning opportunity once you have that foundational base. You can literally quickly learn anything because foundation remains the same. Okay, and some impact. Like, why I emphasize on impact is that impact of your work will play a very huge role in getting that work satisfaction that we talk about, right? Imagine you create a software that is helping blind people. Imagine like the impact that you are going to create for the humanity. That's a great work. You are spending your time to build something that is helping people, and still you are earning a good money. These are the benefits of working in the field of AI. And another one is a collaborative environment. So, as I mentioned, if you're an AI engineer, you would be, you know, working with the multiple teams of data scientists, machine learning engineers, NLP engineers, let's say full stack developers, platform teams, and whatnot. So just become an AI engineer not to earn 50 lakhs per annum, but to gain all the benefits of that field. But yeah, please aim to earn that much because money is important again. Okay. I hope I'm making sense with this talk. I've not been able to see everyone, so getting a feedback is tough. But if you have any question, if you have doubt, you can just post it into the comment section. Would love to answer them once that we end this session. Okay.
या
So yeah,
कोई पूछे ना पूछे मैं तो
let's
एंजॉय कर रहा हूँ.
so let's talk about the existing challenges in the field of AI. See, every challenge is an opportunity to do something good. Okay, don't be afraid of the challenges. It's easier said than done, right? I'm saying it, but sometimes मैं भी डर जाता हूँ कि यार कैसे करेंगे इसको. But you need to have that mental mindset. Okay, so first the data privacy and security concerns. If you open the chat gpt's platform, they say that do not feed anything uh, personally identified information into this section, because we are analyzing the data as well. So data privacy, as the AI system becomes more and more powerful, data privacy would be a concern. We already know a lot of cases when there was a data breach. Not from the small players, but from the big players as well, right? It is like if you just search data privacy breach, you'll get a lot of information, right? Second is the ethical consideration, like potential bias in AI algorithm and decision making. Bias, like if you have not teach an AI correctly, AI won't perform correctly. There are a lot of cases. One of the case that is a very let's say was in a lot of talk when Google Photos. I A lot of you will be using Android phones, which has Google Photos by default in it. In Google Photos, there is a feature in which it identifies people. Let's say you can name them that it's me, it's my mom, it's my dad, it's my friend. Uh, it can identify pets, it can identify scenarios and your breakfast photos and your lunch photos and all. Earlier when Google Photos started, it started, people adopt to technologies in Western colonies more. Then it reached to the Africa and all. And in one of the cases, the Google Photos started to identify black people as gorillas. So it may sound, a bit, let's say, kind of a joke, but yeah, that happened, and it's a very serious issue. It's just a one, option, one thing that I'm saying, but bias into the training data set, it plays a very huge role. Google soon updated it, and now it's everything is gone back to normal. But it's about earlier days when there was a less data available, and data itself has a bias, right? So yeah, so there are a lot of ethical issues, ethical discussions going around about safety of AI and all. A lot of information is already available on the online, right? So third is that rapidly evolving technology and the need of constantly learn and stay up to date. If you stop learning for 3 or 4 years, and if you become comfortable in your own field, it will be very, you'll see a complete change of spectrum after that. And mainly, let's say in 2023, since the day this LLM starts getting introduced, things are changing very rapidly. Be it for the designers, be it for transcribe person who converts from one language to another language, social media marketing, content creation, everything is changing. So as an AI engineer, you should be up to date with all the technologies that are happening, especially the technology that concerns your work. Okay. Yeah, limited availability of experienced AI engineers. As I said, becoming an AI engineer is not that big of challenge. Becoming a skilled AI engineer is important, because skills is the ultimate thing that everyone wants. Because companies are saying that we are not getting, correct talent. Students are saying we are not getting job. So there is a gap between that, and the skilled people will definitely get selected, right? And competition from engineering, AI technologies, and solutions. So when I, just to give you an example, when I first used ChatGPT, I spent whole day in a shock, because I spent 1 week in doing one task, building a pipeline that is scalable and fault tolerant and all that. ChatGPT was able to do it in literally 5 minutes, right? So there's a changing landscape, and you should be, competition is rising. We are competing with the AI coder already. So the things that differentiate you between you and a AI that is writing a code, it's a human skill that you possess, right? So be acquire those skills continuously and keep evolving those skills.
And one thing I want to mention, like that time won't be so much far when people don't recognize Google as a search engine. People will directly go to Chat GPT kind of bots, like chatbots, and ask questions.
Well, yes, it is. Earlier, when I started using it, I did confuse it with the search engine. But just sharing this thing, uh, Chat GPT is like it generates text. So and I have seen a lot, like once I use it regularly, I see a lot of flaws in it. Sometimes it
Mm.
forget to import certain libraries. Sometimes it give wrong information. stuff like that. Uh, but if you want to try this search engine and generative model thing, Microsoft is already working on the Binge. We have heard a lot of
Yeah.
news when it was launched because it does not give the expected output. But yeah, Binge
Mm.
is trying to integrate GPT or GPT type of model into their search environment. Subsequently, Google is also doing that. Everyone is fighting around large scale language model LLMs,
Google's
right?
Bard engine.
Yeah, Bard. Yeah, right. So yeah, this was it. So if we, and in conclusion, nutshell, uh, becoming an AI engineer is very exciting thing. It's a rewarding career choice with a lot of opportunities and growth, right? And it comes with its own challenges as well. You need to acquire multiple skills. You have to be a software engineer. You have to be a machine learning engineer, or at least you should know, let's say, not in depth, but at a good level, a lot of things, right? How a backend engineering works, how do you know how a database works, how a pipeline is created, where your ML model will go, and if you are deploying your model, how will you monitor it, how will you retrain it, how will you get a feedback. There are a lot of things, right? And despite all these challenges, the demand of AI engineering is rising. It will keep rising every day, right? The more the advanced we become in this particular area, the more demand for skilled engineer would be required. And I encourage everyone to keep learning and pursuing your interest in AI. Even if you don't know what AI is, but if you are passionate about it, there is a lot of information available online. You can search it. You can reach out to people on LinkedIn. Right? There are a lot of AI engineers, ML engineers, or people who are in the AI field at a very senior level. If you message 10 people, two of them will definitely reply to you. So keep learning, and there are a lot of opportunities available, and the field is constantly evolving. So keep learning. Yeah. So this was it about this session. We can have some questions if there are.
Yeah, let's have some questions from the audience.
Hmm.
I'm going to show one by one and take one by one question. One
Hmm.
question is like, is it easy to get internship in AI?
Well, it's definitely not easy. The reason is, uh, when you say AI or ML engineering internship, uh, it requires some level of expertise into multiple fields. But if you have, let's say you are in a second or third year, and you have done a couple of courses, you have done good projects that make yourself different from the other applications. Yes, people can. There are a lot of opportunities to for the ML internships. But you need to,
Mm.
you need to do networking. You need to be in touch with the people who are in these companies. You can get a referral, and referral is not the only thing that you need. Referral will get you an interview, but you need to crack the interview. So you have to be a good programmer, good, let's say, good in machine learning, good in maths. At least these three things are needed.
Right, right. Great. Few more questions are there, and this is from my side. Like,
Mhm.
can a new programmer enter an AI field? Like I'm starting with Python and any programming language, like not only Python, but as you
Mhm.
mentioned, like few programming languages are required here in AI. So if I started with Java, then I like have to move with Python, right? So I would be a noob programmer. So will it be suitable for me to enter in AI?
Yes, it will be, because see, when you say computer, let's say with Java and Python, C++, C, take anyone. Okay, language is just a way to communicate with the machine. Okay, algorithm remains same. If we talk about, let's say, quick sort algorithm or merge sort algorithm, you can implement merge sort in Python as well, in Java, in C++. Implementation method will change according to the language, but the logic behind the algorithm remains same. So if you are clear logically, starting with the Python would be easy. If, let's say, if you know any one programming language, let's say C++, if you're doing competitive coding and you want to start learning Python, algorithm remains the same. Linked list is going to be linked list in Python, linked list in the C++. The way you implement it, that syntax changes. So learning Python won't take much time. Yeah, uh, learning ML, like initially it might be easy if you are just learning libraries and trying to get model trained. But once you start entering into this mathematics and all, you might have to be a bit patient and consistent in learning it, because it will take a bit amount of time to get hand on this mathematics behind algorithms.
Right, right. And if you are, I had few other questions, but I think you covered all of the question in the slide, like what are the minimum skills and what are the fundamental knowledge required. But there is one more question, there is a three main type of ML, right? Supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. And the
Hmm.
people are very much aware about that, but don't know when it is used and how it is used. So can you give me just a little bit brief about that?
Okay, sure. So, as you said, there are supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. And what I'll do is I'll give you a very, let's say, simpler examples to it, so we can connect to it. Uh, let's start with this. Let's say this supervised learning. So, in supervised learning, you have given a teacher. Okay, let's say we are learning in the class. So, teacher comes. He or she will explain everything, we understand it. So there is an ideal knowledge, there is a knowledge that we should have, there's a knowledge we acquire, right? So there is an ideal response available for a particular question. We just have to learn it. Okay, that is called supervised learning. Like, inputs and outputs are available. Like, for this input this is the output, for this input this is the output. You need to learn how to just connect them. Okay, in unsupervised learning, output is not available. You just have inputs, and goal of an algorithm is to understand the pattern between them. Okay, so
Right.
if I give an example, let's say there are 100 balls, and let's say uniquely there are three different colors present in the ball. So if I tell to, hey, can you please segregate this ball color wise, you might not know what orange color is, what purple color is, what magenta color is. Let's assume that you don't know what different colors are, but you can see that this two looks like same color, so I can put them into the same box, right? So that is called unsupervised learning. Okay, making sense till now?
Yeah.
Okay. Third one is the reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is one of the most let's say interesting fields, uh, because you don't need data to train your model. You need an environment. If I give you an example, let's say there's a toddler who is learning to let's say walk,
Mm.
right? If that kid walk for, let's say, 5 step, you give that kid a chocolate. Kids love chocolate, they love sweet. And if he or she cannot talk, let's say walk, you don't give any incentives. So in that kid's mind it will be like, I want more chocolates, so I need to walk. You didn't tell
Right.
the kid particular to walk. You just incentivized it. And the goal of the kid is to maximize its reward, maximum chocolates, right? So that kid will start doing that particular activity over and over again and will get expertise in that. This is what reinforcement learning is. You start with the blank mind. You That algorithm will do random things, and once it does the right thing, you give a reward. And the goal of the algorithm is to take steps in a way to maximize that particular reward. It's like a game. If you are playing PUBG or Call of Duty or any particular game, you the main goal that you have is to maximize your points. So so you start learning, you start doing right thing, you start, let's say, making right, taking right weapons and all. This is how reinforcement learning works in simple terms.
Right, right. This might be our last question. Taking
Mhm.
considering the time commitment. Some people say blockchain is a bubble field and AIML is a bubble field. Let's forget about blockchain. The current our topic, AIML is just a bubble field. People say about that like it will die in some time. So is it true, or what do you think about that?
It won't die, it will evolve. There's a
Mm-hmm.
difference between dying and there's a difference between evolving.
Mm-hmm.
AI will evolve, AI is evolving. Like, let's say we think that machine learning is something new, like it just happened in after 2000 and we have new algorithms and all. Believe me, the first research paper on perceptron, we in deep learning we have one neuron. It was published in, I believe, in 1939. The first learning algorithm, the back propagation algorithm that is used in 90%, 95% of the projects. Be it a large model, be it small model, be it a college project, be it industry project. Back propagation algorithm is used everywhere. The research paper of back propagation algorithm comes in around 1959. You might be
Right.
Geoffrey Hinton. He along with two other people, Lee Yakun and Joshua Bengio. They received this ACM Turing Award. It's a Nobel Prize in Computer Science in 2019 for their contribution in machine learning. Geoffrey Hinton was one of the founder of this backpropagation algorithm. Lee Yakun was the founder of CNN. He was the first one in 90s, I think late 90s, to show this, how CNN could be used for digit classification. This MNIST dataset that we all, play with. So ML was with us earlier. ML is here. ML will be here. The form of ML might change, but ML would be there. It's not die for sure.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So let's see if we have any questions or comments. Nope. I think that's all for today. Okay. Regarding Q&A. So thank you, Bhargav. Thank you for joining and sharing your valuable knowledge. And first of all, I appreciate for the memes and the PPT. For that's really cool. I have never seen like this kind of PPT in any podcast or any session. So that's like really good thing. And thanks again for giving us the time and giving us time to the community and sharing your knowledge. Okay, and we will meet have a session another session regarding MLOps possibly with you.
Sure, sure. And thank you very much for inviting me. It's always great to share knowledge with the community. I love to do it, and yeah, we're looking forward to have another session soon.
Sure, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.